Welcome, you guys. Hey there, it's Stacia with Real Estate Funnel Systems, and we have Eric B here.
What's up?
And I wanted to make sure to introduce him as well. If you guys are new to our group, we have a lot of really friendly faces coming in here, so thanks for being here. Make sure to hashtag live in the comments below or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can create higher commissions for yourself if you're a real estate agent. And have you ever considered working with a investor? So I know this will actually blow a lot of your minds because it's not just working with a real estate investor, but you can actually make multiple commissions, and we'll explain more how that would work if you're still kind of like, how does that work? So Eric, take it away.
Yeah, well, shoot. Thanks for everybody for your time to be here. We have a cool topic to cover, and it's about how to make more commissions as a real estate agent first and foremost. So I know there's a lot of people out there, real estate agents. Raise your hand if you are one. Is to we in this moment, right? Just to be sensitive to this moment. Everything is changing. Everything we do is critical, right? And and just to address it is, man, I sure hope everybody is safe out there and is doing a great job of staying home and washing your hands and doing all the right things so that we can put this behind us as quickly as we can, because that's what we all need. And so that's my message. I know that's a common message out there, but let's all just band together and do it, because the recovery is good. So and as we recover, this downtime to me is a great time to strategize. Really put down, look at your business model, look at, try to create a calm space and say, okay, what am I doing well? What could I do better? Where are the areas that I can really expand my business or create more opportunity and given the circumstance? So one of the ways right away is, if you're a real estate agent, is to understand how you can put yourself in front of more commissions in this competitive market, and just be more active as an agent in this role. So I'm a real estate buyer. I'm a real estate investor, as people call it. And my role within the investment world is as a buyer, a marketer and a buyer. So I do a lot of marketing to homeowners. Traditionally they call it distressed homeowners. I don't do necessarily distressed homeowners. I just reach out to homeowners that with a message saying that I'm interested in buying their house. That's what I do. And the people that say, hey, okay, I'm interested in taking or receiving an offer, then I work with those people. That's as an investor. That's what I do. Okay. But I always encourage real estate agents, man, you can do the same thing and to create listings. So, we as investors, we do that outreach as, hey, we buy houses, or, sell your house fast for cash, or, all of these different terms that you see as investors. That's what we do to create that curiosity or that desire to call us and say, yeah, I'm interested in an offer. Okay. And that's how that works. And then we negotiate with them, and no agents are involved. It's a for sale by owner transaction. And, without the commissions, we're able to, get the seller more money in their pocket. So there is an efficiency there without having a real estate agent in there with the commission. Now, I know all of the real estate agents and brokers are like, well, yeah, but it's really important for us to be in these transactions. And I will not disagree. Real estate agents, your place is needed and wanted and everything else. But there are a lot of for sale by owner transactions, and that's a lot of what I do. Okay, so I get it. I've been a skilled real estate professional for a long time, so I'm very, very comfortable in this arena. Now,
well, actually, when we work together, for those of you guys who don't know, I've actually known Eric for over 10 years, and different capacities. I've been in the marketing side for real estate agents, some of the top developers in the country, and we've come across paths and are now working together. But one of my strengths has been working with putting the real estate agents actually in touch with my investors and actually making a win-win situation, even, actually even making more money for all parties.
Exactly, Stacia. That's where the real firepower is understanding your role in the position of what you do, and then teaming up to work together. So, and that's kind of where I'm going here. And so again, as a real estate buyer and as a marketer, I see that angle really, really clearly. Okay. And as a listing agent, it's kind of the same thing. We play the same game. Ultimately, a listing agent goes out there, talks to somebody that's interested in selling their property, and then gets a listing agreement signed. And then now they have a listing, that they're going to market for sale. We would just, in that same moment, instead of having a listing agreement signed, we would have a purchase and sale agreement signed. Same idea. Okay. So now a real estate agent, they oftentimes they will say, hey, I can sell your house. I'm really good, or, this is my marketing plan. And, I know these types of people or whatever else, and they get the listing. Now, what I would do, and what I would highly suggest as a real estate agent, is to beat the investor to the punch, get that listing before the investor gets their foot in the door. Okay, so you can take a note right out of the investor's page, and do your own marketing to these people, and let them know that, hey, I'm a licensed agent. I have an interested buyer. He's a cash buyer, willing to and ready to make an offer on your property. Are you interested in talking? Okay. So that's the message that I would lead with the homeowner. Okay. Yes, I am a licensed agent, but I am not trying to solicit your listing to just let it sit on the MLS and rot. I am a listing agent that has a cash buyer that's interested in making an offer. So that you're really making that strong point up forward. And that's a difference between that and somebody that's just trying to get a listing and go fishing to get offers on that property. So I would highly suggest, as a real estate agent, making sure that you have a cash buyer in your back pocket. That should be very, very, very simple. And some of you here are like, duh, that's obviously, okay. Now, I find that as a real estate buyer, I have my listing agent and me. We go to seller appointments together to either pivot to a cash offer or to a listing. So I will go to a seller appointment with both angles. So I watch this scenario play out in the benefit of a real estate agent. Okay, because if the house is not fit for a cash offer, then it should go to the open market. It should be a listing, and then we go that route, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so if you're a listing agent, you do some marketing to houses that are might need to be sold, the houses that we're marketing to, the absentee owners, the people that are in foreclosure, or the people that are have owned their house for 30 years, that it's over 2,000 square feet, and it's just that demographic of people that the baby boomers that are going into the retirement home, and all of those different scenarios will market to those people. And if I were a real estate agent, I would do it with the message of, hey, I have a cash buyer that would love to make an offer on your property. Have you ever considered selling? Okay. Now, if I were the cash buyer that you were referring to, I'm like, yeah, go get that listing, bring it back to me. You can represent my offer to get the deal done. All right. So I want to be clear what I just said. The listing agent does the marketing. They secure a listing that needs work. That is good for a cash buyer. Then that listing agent comes back to me as the cash buyer and says, hey, I got this listing. The seller, I already told the seller about you, that you're willing to make an offer on it. We could probably get this deal done without exposing it to the MLS. Okay, just get it done really quick. They call that a pocket listing. Okay, or hey, I'm going to expose it to the MLS, but I'd love to write your offer first and get that offer in there. Great. Okay, so that's a real estate agent that's taking charge of the situation, getting the listing, and then bringing their buyer to the table and getting the commission of both sides there, the listing commission and the buyer's commission. Okay, That's
Giving the seller options.
yeah.
Giving multiple options.
Giving the seller options, having a really clear direction to a result, which is a cash offer. Okay, that's a clear direction to a result. And or if they don't like that result, they can go a different direction, which is great. But by having that forward action approach, you're going to get a listing, which is commission. Then if you represent the investor buyer for the purchase, you get another commission. Now, what I do with the agents that I work with like this is that I offer them the list back. Okay, so after we fix the property and then it's beautiful, staged, and ready to be sold, who do we want to call? That listing agent that brought us the deal. Okay, so just understand what this listing agent did. Okay, and here, Stacia, can I take over the screen share?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's see here. Just so to illustrate this a little bit more clear, maybe. So here's the seller, agrees to pay a commission, right? And so 2.5% goes to the listing broker, and 2.5 goes to the buying broker. Then the broker pays the agent, right? So this is just a basic understanding. Now, so here we are stacking the two commissions. So if the house was sold at $200,000 and the listing agent got 2.5% for the listing side and then 2.5% for the buying side, they just doubled their commission to make it a $10,000 transaction for them on the buy side. Okay, which is great. The agent just doubled their commission. They provided a solution that the seller liked, and it went through great. Okay, now the next way is to do that on the front side, represent the listing and then the buyer as a cash buyer here, and then negotiate the list back. We call it the list back, or the relist. So after the renovation has happened, then you list it at that higher price point. Here in this example is $350. So we bought it at $200. We're relisting it now at $350 after the complete renovation, and the agent gets the listing on that side. So they get then another chunk of change right there. So in that one transaction, in this example, there was 3 different commission points being paid out to that listing agent. Okay, so that's the power of what I'm talking about. Now, as you do this, and you're working with agents, we have agents in our office that do this with rhythm, so that they are triple ending deals almost every time they bring transactions to us. So let's just say they bring 5 transactions to us as a cash buyer this year. That is the potential of 15 different commission points just with that 5 transactions that they brought to us. Okay, so keep that in mind as a real estate agent. Position yourself with an investor strategically can be a huge benefit to your business, and nobody is going to be turning down those beautiful list backs. The freshly renovated, beautifully staged, price aggressively. Those are the listings that you want, and it's wonderful if you collect commission on your way to get to those. So just be aware out there of how that game is played and where you can really maximize your results. I can't tell you enough. There's one agent in our office that brings transactions to us, and they have this pattern down as an art form. It's incredible how they're as a real estate agent, they're doing their job at the highest level. They're always networking and doing some marketing to the houses that are looking a little bit distressed or ugly or whatever else. So they're always have those types of properties on the radar, and they're always engaging with them. Hey, I got a cash buyer. Whenever you're willing to sell, I've got a cash buyer. We can do a discrete listing. We don't even need to have open houses. We can just go this route, and I will even reduce my commission in order to do this. But if you're collecting 2 commissions, it's way easier to reduce one of your commissions, right? And or contribute your commission to the bottom line of the seller. Okay, so again, there's more negotiating room when there's more commission going into the same place. Okay, so man, I can't even tell you how powerful this process is. 3 commissions per transactions that you bring to an investor, a good investor, man, that's the rhythm that you want to do. Now, in all of this process, let's just say the investor makes 30 grand. They flip it and they make 30 grand. Okay. How much risk did they take on to make that 30 grand? They bought the property, they renovated it, and then they have to sell it. And, that whole process takes 120 days or longer. That would be fast, right? And they have to, everything has to go right for them to make their profit. Okay. Real estate agents, on the other hand, they're making commission the whole time, regardless if they hit their ARV or if they went over budget or whatever else. That real estate agent, they're making money every time that transaction hits. Okay. So that became pretty obvious to us when as a real estate investment company, we had a couple projects that didn't go as planned. Okay, we can say that. And it was very clear when the real estate agent was making more money than we were and taking on a significantly different risk level, like almost no risk. Okay, to ours when we were just completely out there as a real estate investor. So I remember seeing that the math kind of go through and just being like, man, this real estate agent gig is not a bad gig, especially if you know how to work the system and you know how to team up with the right investors and do some marketing. Wow, you could unlock commission after commission after commission after commission, time and time again. So, and then your brand goes up, and all of that happens. It just spools together. So, man,
So speaking of marketing and and mistakes, and what can real estate agents, how can they structure partnering with an investor? What should they look out for? What should they do, and how do they go about marketing for this type of sellers?
Yeah, great question. So always when you're as a real estate agent, you always want to be networking with cash buyers and developing a tight relationship. That's somebody that should be like really close to your team, because trust level is high. Trust level needs to be high in this business. That's the way it is. So I take those relationships very serious, and we pour into them. So we take the time to get to know each other and build that trust level really well, so that when if I'm a buyer, I need to be able to trust that the real estate agent is always honest and ethical and representing well, right? And same goes back and forth. So make sure that as a real estate agent that you have a good buyer in your back pocket, and you pour into that relationship first and foremost. Then the next thing is to start marketing. Man, market to the right properties. Market to the properties that are likely needing work. That's what we're, as buyers, that's what we're interested in. And oftentimes listing agents are like, oh, I don't want that, stinky listing, or, oh man, that house needs work. I don't want to try to sell it. Okay. Change that attitude to those are the properties that you can sell easily, because I am always looking to buy those. Always. Okay. So, now it's switching your mindset to like, hey, I like those ugly, smelly, stinky, broken listings. Those are great. We smell the money, right? Is if you just switch that and you start talking to those people, and you let other real estate agents know, hey, I specialize in those, kind of dogger listings, because I got a cash buyer that's really reliable, and so that's a great way to do it. So now back to the question of marketing. So how do you market to these people? You got to identify them. Who are they? And so you need a list provider. So a title rep is a list provider. Your title agent can provide a list to you of absentee owners or equity position or these sorts of things. So we use our title rep as one resource. The other resource that we love and we pour into is PropStream. PropStream is a data provider that we do all of these different searches, granular searches to find our audience. And then that allows us to find the homeowners in certain zip codes that have certain equity positions or have owned their house for so long, or are in bankruptcy, or that has all of the different ingredients. So we can really identify and narrow in who is the best, most likely candidate for our marketing. And so I would highly recommend getting with a company like ListSource, doing some farming with there. Once you farm your data, then you skip trace it. Once you skip trace it, then you have all of that contacts, like if you had a list of 100 people or 200 people, you skip trace them, then you can do some outbound marketing. Once you skip trace that, you should have their phone numbers, you'll have their address, obviously, and everything else. So you can start doing some cold calling, sending letters, or any sort of canvassing type of marketing to stir up that conversation. So definitely get with a list provider. If you're interested in that, I can help you. This is what we do all day, every day is mine different lists for different markets and for the people that would be, in theory, motivated to sell. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the life circumstances that dictate that a transaction will be in the near future. So here's an example of this. And this is kind of how my brain works when I'm going into the data hunt, when I'm really trying to find, okay, where's my demographic that I want to market to? And so, it's kind of this creative process of, okay, so why would people want to sell? What are reasons why people want to sell? And here's the most obvious example that I can show you, besides foreclosure and things like that. That's just tremendously obvious. But think of the baby boomer demographic, the empty nesters, the people that are in their late 60s. Okay, that's my parents. Those are they're in their transitioning, right? They're going from, hey, retirement's in the near future, or retirement's just hitting, or they're right on that cusp. And so what happens in this time in life oftentimes is a sale of a house. They sell their family house, they downsize, they get rid of stairs, like, hey, dad's knees can't go up and down those stairs anymore, we're going to have to sell the family house now, it's time. Okay. And they go to a one story, or they go to a condo, or they go to this, that, and the other thing. And that's just part of retirement. Life is simpler now. And so, selling the old family house is just a logical thing. It happens all the time. Okay. And another ingredient that happens with those properties is that sometimes those family houses, maybe they haven't been taken care of all that well. It's just, age, and time, and a family just really living in it and loving it and, kind of beating it up. And then, mom and dad are old enough where they're not like super hands-on, fix it people anymore. And the knees are going bad. And so, hey, we got to sell the house that has a couple warts in it, that's not quite right. That is a demographic that's out there in the thousands, right? In the thousands. So how do I find those people? That's just a life circumstance. Okay, so how do I find those people? Okay, so I'll go into somebody that has, in this area, that has owned their house for 20 plus years. Okay, if you've owned your house for 20 plus years or 30 years, how old are you? You're usually around 60, 70 years old. Okay, just rough math here. And so that's how I can kind of find that age demographic. Okay, so they've owned their house for a long time. Now, are there exceptions to all of this? Of course. This is just a general sense of how you would do this. Okay, so they've owned their house for 30 plus years, and let's say their house is larger than 2,000 square feet. Okay, so let me ask you, how many houses that are 2,000 square feet have stairs? Almost all of them. If your house is 2,000 square feet, you almost always have stairs. You either have a basement or a second story. Okay, so there you go. So now by those two data sets, I just found a likely age candidate and a likely scenario candidate. Okay, so they're older and they have stairs. Okay, so I wonder how long they plan on holding on to this property. Okay, this might be a list to just reach out and start a conversation with. Hey, have you guys ever thought about selling? Is that time in your life showing up or not, or whatever else? Okay, so that's a rough idea of what we do or how we go about it. We just start those conversations, and then we talk about what are the best options for them given their current circumstance. Yep. So Hopefully that wasn't too long-winded or that made sense. But man, as a real estate agent, if you understand this pattern that's in front of you all the time, man, you can just put yourself in a great position with very, very little risk.
We have a real estate funnel guide, so that has all of our tools that we use as well, to all the tools that Eric just mentioned. So if you just go ahead and hashtag guide, and I'll go ahead and we will reach out and send it over to you. And if you'd like to, pick Eric's brain about anything, please don't hesitate to reach out as well too.
Yeah,
I'm putting you under the bus.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody wants a little strategy session, or if any of this made sense to you, if you want to explore these types of strategies in your marketplace, if you want to open up more doors of opportunity right now, let's jump on the phone, schedule a call with me, and I'm more than happy to walk you through the different strategies that we're doing and how we operate, and we'll maybe see if we're a good fit. So.
Awesome. Hey, Giselle, thanks for being here with us too. She's hashtag guide. It's all about the patterns. Love it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. We're entering into a really, really interesting time. I can't say that enough. The amount of uncertainty is at an all-time high and all of this. And I think as a real estate professional, this is going to be a really dynamic time, and it's something that I'm excited to participate in, because there's going to be a lot of whitewater of real estate. Interest rates are so low, and circumstances and tension so high, and emotion is so high, and all of this tells me a lot of transactions are going to be happening. People are going to be selling to capture the equity that they still have. People are going to be buying a good deal because inventory is finally, it's not as competitive anymore, and they still qualify. Or, there's people that have a job scare right now, which is horrible. And if you have a job scare right now, and you have a significant chunk of equity, man, people are going to be making that decision to grab that equity, sell that asset now, grab that equity as a survival method in a tough economic time. It's a survival thing that we all need to be aware of. None of us are much different than any of this. So it's not, but we are the professionals that help process these moments. And so it's not that we're taking advantage of anything or any one moment or anything. It's just, I understand as a real estate professional what's happening, what's going to be happening. We're going to have more urgent sales. We're going to have a higher volume of stuff happening out of urgency, or some people taking advantage of situations, or some people falling to a situation, or whatever else, but it's going to be happening. And as a good real estate professional, I plan on putting people into the best position possible with their real estate, whether it's a quick sale or a top market sale or anything along those lines. That's my job as a real estate professional, to show up at a very high level and help people meet their goal. That's at the end of the day what we do. So it's a time to take serious, time to buckle up, and let's do our jobs at a high level.
We were having a conversation about this the other day too, in 2008, we had a really rough time, and this is also a rough time, not only just for real estate, but for everyone in a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
But I think we're we're actually in a really good position because we are investors, because we've set it up so that no matter what part, you can shift your strategy. So
yeah,
this is awesome.
It's why I love real estate. You nailed it, Stacia. Is a good real estate professional can do just that. In an up market, we know how to play the game in an up market. In a down market, we know how to play the game in a down market. It's the game still goes on. It's just how you're participating in it. So I think that's what I would. This is a time that good professionals are going to be needed. It's a time to be a sharp professional, have sharp skills, be a good marketer, and treat people really, really well. This is the time to do it. And again, like Stacia said, it's not, I'm excited. about the moment of opportunity. I take very serious and with heavy heart why we're in this moment, not to disregard that, but it is what it is. And so it doesn't change. We got to do it.
And people still need more help, more than ever. They need more help. They need more professionals to guide them to get to their goals, whether it's moving or changing jobs or buying a house. People are still having multiple offers out there.
Yep, absolutely. Like just this last week, just to give perspective, down here in San Diego, I put a property on the market at $735. That's what the ARV was, or the after repair value was for me based on the comps in the neighborhood. $735 I thought was really good and aggressive. We got multiple offers up and over $765. That was yesterday. So the market is still cranking in certain pockets. And I know that's not always the case, but inventory is still low out there. Okay. Interest rates are still really, really low. So for the real estate climate, I'm very optimistic that yes, there will be an effect here. Of course. But as far as a professional, that's fine. We're going to do it. We're going to navigate through this moment as a professional and do more transactions likely. That's the bottom line. So get the opportunity, be there for it. So yeah. Any questions, Stacia? Anybody have any questions about how we do what we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Even more opportunities with lease to own options for folks that are unable to qualify for a mortgage.
Yep.
Giselle is actually also a realtor specializing working with investors too out there. So
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it's a great place to be as a real estate agent, being partnered up and or closely correlated with one or two different investors in your game. It's a great place to be. So I applaud all that and it's great. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this or going to take a different approach or look at the way you do your game. If you like this information, if you like these types of strategies, we're always helping people grow in the real estate space, scale their business, and do better marketing. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that.
Here.
Yeah.
Do you recommend using social media marketing to find investors like yourself?
Yeah, of course, man. I do. That's the beauty of social media these days, is that we're always networking. So yes, network with investors through social media, 100%. Ask good questions, be engaged. And social media to me is just a place to start the conversation. Then I get them on a phone or a Zoom meeting where I can see face to face and we talk for real. I love Zoom. I've spent almost all day in my Zoom meetings because almost everything I do is now face to face via Zoom. So yes, social media, start the conversation, kick it over to a phone call or a Zoom meeting, build that rapport to the higher level, and then do transactions.
Yeah, I've actually done this for multiple people, and I've even used Instagram as well too. And you can follow the hashtag real estate investor and just start conversation. Hey, how long have you been a real estate investor? They're always looking to buy. So always ask them what they're looking for specifically. What areas you market in? Is there a certain price range? Like people will, if you're more inquisitive about what they do and what they're looking for, they're more apt to get on a phone call or a Zoom.
Yep. It's the attitude of how can I help you? Right. So if I were a real estate agent trying to network with a real estate investor, I would be asking questions. Hey, how you doing? How can I help you? What's going on with your business? What are you buying right now? What are you looking for? What are you staying away from? So I know when I'm out in the field, what's going to be a good fit for you. How can I help you? That is exactly what I would say. And generally speaking, you're going to get, well, we're looking in this area and we buy this, anything that's, around the medium price point and whatever else. Okay. And there you go. and then bring them transactions, and keep that conversation going so it doesn't die off. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Leave your questions in the comments below. #guide if you want our real estate ultimate resource guide to help you go and market those deals.
Yeah.
And we'll answer your questions as well if we don't see them here today. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Real quick on the guide. It's a guide that we're giving away, and it is, we get asked the questions all the time. Hey, what do you use for skip tracing? What do you use for your list, provider? Or what do you use for your CRM? All of the different things that we use to make our business the way it is, it's all in that resource guide. Everything that we do, how we organize our list, where we pull our list, all of that, how we track our marketing, all of that is in which ads that we use. It's all in there. So if you have any questions in regards to the resources, what we do, how we do, whatever, make sure you get that resource guide, check it out. And then after you cruise through it, reach out, ask a question. We'd love to elaborate on it because I know there's a lot more to it than what's in the resource guide, but that will give you the context of how we're doing it. Awesome.
Great. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, guys. See you later. Stay safe.